position?
My name is Samuel Coleman. I am the acting regional administrator for EPA Region 6.
You've been over the time.
Sure. I actually started as a staff person working on as we were developing the IBEP, the International Border Environmental Plan. And at that point in time, there was a lot of what I would term as failure to communicate between the countries. We had the La Paz Agreement, but the relationships were very shallow. Very few people knew each other from the U.S. side and the Mexican side with regard to the government entities. There was a little bit of communication, but all of the meetings had to be very formally facilitated. It was very difficult to reach agreement because translation was difficult. There wasn't a lot of trust on documents, and it was very, very hard. I've watched how the program has grown, both the capacity on both sides of the border to understand both culturally and legally what's possible, to understand the different roles that government plays in the U.S. as opposed to in Mexico. The relationship between the states has grown, and now I think that it is an extremely cooperative and effective program. It works very, very well on both sides of the border, where both governments, nonprofits, academia, industry can all come together to offer their ideas and can really collaborate in a very open process that leads to a lot of success. I think that the program continues to evolve to be more decentralized. Before, it was mostly Washington, Mexico City. That's where we started in the beginning. And frankly, I think we needed to start there, because the concept of international cooperation needed the support of the federal governments, the strong support. And that needed to then be pushed down and decentralized both to the delegates as I was serving, as also to the states. And absent that strong federal participation at the beginning, I don't think it could have been successful. But now, I think that the states play a very important role. Both in Mexico and in the U.S., the state governments on both sides are in constant communication and have a variety of partnerships that are very successful and that really demonstrate the really spirit of border cooperation. I think frankly, the big challenge is maintaining an appropriate level of funding during some tough budget times. That will continue to be a challenge. Governments in these economic times need to be very, very careful with all of the taxpayers' money. They need to be very thoughtful in how they cooperate and collaborate to make sure that funding is spent on the highest priorities and is spent in the best way to get the best results. Well, I would just like to say that in my many years of working in this program, I've developed lots of friendships with people in states, in Mexico, and at the federal level. We've seen the administrations change on the U.S. side. We've seen the administration change on the Mexican side. I think it's a great testament for democracy in both countries that this program has continued despite those changes in government, despite the change in administrations. We've been able to continue to advance priorities and have to continue to work towards a better border environment.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.